I have some marvelous news to share with you today, but before I proceed, subscribe for more info anytime we upload a new video. I did not grow up pretty. Meghan Markle reveals she to discover a means to forgive Paris Hilton and told her, "I'm truly sorry I judged you after studying her trauma." Meghan Markle has admitted she apologized to Paris Hilton for judging her according to her success and looks after studying her trauma on the podcast of her. Meghan, 41, showcased the heiress 41 as her newest guest for her Archetype Spotify podcast in an episode entitled Breaking Down the Bimbo. Talking about the episode, Meghan said she was embarrassed to acknowledge she had judged Paris in advance and also needed to discover a means to forgive her since she didn't grow up pretty herself. Speaking to Variety, Meghan said it was the most difficult interview she's done thus far for the podcast of her and stated that was very nervous beforehand. I spoke to Paris Hilton previous week. I told her initially that I was most anxious about the interview of her. She explained, "I was ashamed to admit, though I had a judgment about her that it's based on every aspect I have noticed. I do not love to come from an area of judgment, though I also did not grow up pretty." Meghan said she lived as the clever one and also was envious of Paris and judged her according to the public image of her before studying the trauma in her life. The wife of Prince Harry mentioned she wound up apologizing to the media personality for judging her and buying into her public persona before meeting her. She said, "I was raised as the clever one and so much of what I ended up She said, "I was raised as a clever one and so much of what I ended up imagining about when I thought about Paris was judgment and envy, two of the most deadly items. But then you learn about the trauma of her and the life of her and her buying into the particular persona. Ultimately, I told her, I'm truly sorry I judged you. I needed her to be comfortable and safe. I told her I was not searching for a gotcha moment. I would like a got you time, exactly where we receive you on the podcast." Paris revealed she built her Barbie doll persona as a means to escape the traumatic teenage years of her at a Utah boarding school. Meghan said she needed listeners to consider whether they could forgive Paris after studying the way she was misrepresented as well as find a more humanized side to her. That episode isn't framed as a safeguard of Paris, it is the humanization of her, and that is correct for every person, she said. "I do not care what circumstance you are in. When a 16-year-old girl or boy, or maybe a female in the office, feels objectified or even dehumanized since their character is misrepresented, I am hoping everybody listening with an open mind could come away believing. Could I just really think about for 1 second that there is an individual there? I've accomplished a large amount of inner job. I am from California and it is in the bath. And whether you are training and meditating, you are occasionally required to imagine a person who tends to make you furious. You look at them, you get it all out there, after which you are requested to consider about them a 6-year-old kid. Could you forgive them? That is just how I contextually approach that." Paris has alleged she was verbally, physically, and mentally abused during her 2 years at Provo Canyon School after being rooted to the institution by her parents when she was obviously a rebellious teenager. Paris alleged she was verbally, physically, and mentally abused during her 2 years at Provo Canyon School after being rooted to the institution by the parents of her when she was obviously a rebellious teenager. Speaking to Meghan about all those years, Paris called it the most unpleasant and also horrific experience of the life of mine, explaining how it actually just took away my childhood. "I have accomplished a large amount of inner work. I am from California. It is in the bath, and whether you are exercising or meditating, you are occasionally asked to picture a person who makes you angry. You look at them, you get it all out there, after which you are requested to consider about them a 6-year-old kid. Could you forgive them? That is just how I contextually approach that. Paris has alleged she was verbally, physically, and mentally abused during her 2 years at Provo Canyon School after being rooted to the institution by the parents of her when she was obviously a rebellious teenager. She stated one thing that kept her going during that time was considering who she was planning to be when she left. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more info. Speaking to Meghan about all those years, Paris called it the most unpleasant and also horrific experience of her life of mine, explaining how it actually just took away my childhood.